Hello, I'm Frank Jessup, Capital Area Wood Turners. I've been a member since the late 80s. I think I'm member number 3. And today we're going to turn tops. Here's a couple examples. Redskins, Patriotic. We're going to turn it, the tops from soft maple. This was greenwood turned to a cylinder about 3 to 6 months back. Subsequently turned round again and a tenon added because it ovalized when it dried. Dried in a paper bag. The tools I'm going to use today is a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. It's ground at 40 degrees and then the bevels relax so I can get in pretty tight. The other tool is a quarter inch skew. This is a homemade skew. CAW Savoy made this one. Expect that later there'll be a tape on tool handles, and we've got a class schedule to make these. A Sorby miniature texturing tool with a standard wheel on it. This one's been used quite a bit and is virtually worn out. 2 colors. I got colors here for the Patriotics, and as you can see they've been used quite a bit. And the reason I'm mentioning Patriotic, we've been giving tops to Fisher House. It's now just past halfway into February, and so far we've given away 240 tops. Here's a batch ready to go. So let's turn a top. I got my safety glasses here. This is softwood, so I'm going to put it in the chuck and tighten down from both sides at least a couple of times and crush the wood pretty good. Helpful hint, I've turned one top here on this and I had it in the chuck. Anytime you're going to take anything out of the chuck and put it back, I marked the number 1 jaw because no chuck's around. So I'll put it back with the number 1 jaw between these 2 marks. So let's turn a top. And that's pause, right? Okay, we're ready to go. Okay. The idea here is clean cuts as possible. Turn the variable speed lathe. Turn the speed up to at least a fast medium to begin with, and ideally for my method of doing this you want a variable speed lathe because I slow it up for both the texturing and the color. So you want continuous cut because, like I say, we're not going to sand. You don't want a lot of hesitation marks to show. That's probably okay right there. You want the tip to be blunt so it don't mark anybody's table or something in their house. Clean up the rim, and then we get rid of some. This has the old gouge would work just as good. I've got in the habit of using the 1/2 inch gouge here. Now that we've got rid of some wood, we need to clean up our cut. That noise is vibration. No vibration that time. That's probably a clean enough cut. Over here, I'm cleaning up for the next top. I'll probably get 2 more out of this blank because I use a fairly short stem, and that stem is about as small as it can be and be able to survive the texturing. Slow the lathe up to texture, and because this tool is pretty worn, see the amount of play in it, I am going to start at an angle and then straighten up to do the ring. Go all the way across. I didn't get any significant tear out. That's one of the problems with soft maple. You can get tear out. Wire brush, quick stroke with 150 grit sandpaper will take care of that. Now we're going to texture the front. You want a presentation angle to the wood about like that, and start in the center. And to make it narrow, I tend to swing down as I put the weight on. So there's one. I tend to do it in threes. I can get 4 on here if I want to, but 3 seems to work fine. And if you'll notice, there's light spots. That's where the texture is. If I'm careful enough coloring, I'm usually not, I can make the texture areas one color, the non-texture areas another. There's the front. And I angle about 45 to the wood to get my best angle to come in behind. If I have a problem, here's where it tends to be, but I've cleaned up my surface for the sackle, and so I can rub against that to steady up for my first cut, which is deepest in. Put my thumb here to try to keep it from turning over. There's one. I can rub also here for the second. There's the second. The third is unsupported, but I got much more clearance. So there is the texturing. It's textured 3 rows on each side and on the rim. I'm now going to color it. I'm using just the standard Sharpies. These are the oversized ones, and they will tend to last longer, but as you can see, this one is already showing quite a bit of damage at the tip. They will last longer if you color below center and hold them steady. So I will do all my coloring below center, all the way around, and under the stem. For some reason under the stem it gets darker. And the tips will last longer. Use your lighter color first. I can put blue over red and cover red. I can't go the other way, and if I use red behind blue, I can contaminate the tip of the red. More so if there's a more dramatic difference in the colors. So red first, and if I finish the stem now, I needed more wood for support earlier, I can do all the coloring at one time. Now there is some danger, speed up again, there is some danger in finishing the stem. If the wood should move, you will have two-tone coloring. It will be darker on one side of the top than the other. You have to finish this stem a section at a time. As you get it fairly small, you can't go back. Start your top so you know where you're coloring, and remove a little wood there. We'll cut it off with a skew, but now we know where the top will be. Take your red, slow the lathe up. You can go fairly slow here, but with your most one-way lathes, which this is, you can only go slow for so long, and the lathe will decide to rest on you. This is slow enough. I can go ahead and put all the red on. And what I'm doing is trying mostly to hit the textured areas to get down to stem. I get down to stem, I sort of do whatever strikes me at the time, no particular pattern. But it seems on anything, odd numbers seems to work to your benefit. So most everything there is groups of 3s. Now I'm just going back and taking care of white wood. The bottom of the texture is white, so that's why I'm calling these red, white, and blue. Okay. Just make sure for color, ideally, that you color the white. And here you'll notice I'm making this band wider because you can color over the red. Finish at the top with a dark color, and then when I cut it off I won't have any trouble coloring the top and blending it in. Speed back up, my skew. Sorry, my hand will probably be in your way. First couple of cuts is just for clearance, and sometimes I still get just a little grain pull out here, what have you. I've done a few of these though. I'm probably at 4,000 is my guess. I can do 100 a day pretty easily. We have given away 240 so far this year, not counting the ones I've given to Cub Scouts, friends of my grandson, his class at Valentine's, etc. I just clean the top up with a skew, take my darker color, and I can be as sloppy as I please because I'm putting blue onto blue just so I have no white. And there's the spin top finished. 3 rows of texture on each side, 1 on the rim. And I don't know, that's probably 5 minutes. I can certainly do them in 5 minutes when I'm not videoing. Thank you. Okay folks, since we got the wood anyway, we're going to make a second one. Use up the wood. Since we left this surface pretty good when we did the first one, there's the front done. To give you a better view, we'll texture the front while we're here. So slow delay that. I don't know, but my guess is I'm texturing at around 800. I listen to the motor of the lathe. I never know the true speed. There's 1, 2, 3. And there they are. This is a little closer to the tip than I would normally come. It's okay, but it's just different than I would normally do. Let's clean up the rim. We'll texture it too. There's some danger in texturing the rim now. If I get catches, they're always planned, of course, but sometimes in this soft maple you'll get some chip out when you're cutting it to a small thickness from the back, even though you're not cutting in that area. When we relax just a little, we'll put the texture on now because you can see it well. Slow lathe up. This is wider than the top will be, but I tend, if I have chip out, but to be at the rear, so any chip out we got, we're going to cut away. There's the rim textured. And if you can see it, here is some of the chip out I was talking about at the rear, but now we'll cut it away, so it shouldn't be a problem. We can't get 2 tops here, so we got all kinds of wood to play with. So the next thing to do is take some of it away. Get a little more speed. Alright, go ahead. What do you want to do? Color the front? Wood off the back. Let's color the front. We have a good camera angle. I've slow delayed up. And I'm trying to put the red at least in a textured area mostly. I'll go ahead and do the rim too, even though it's going to get reduced. Do the blue. I like the darker color on the tip. That's a business end. Kids are probably going to turn it, spin it on the ground and what have you. It'll stay clean looking longer. Okay, there's the front colored. Okay folks, we've moved the camera. I'm going to do the back of the top. At first, we're only interested in getting rid of some wood. Apologies in advance for this rim. Something's not going to come out right. Any good demonstration has a catch. If I get a catch, I'm going to ruin the rim, so can't win here. I guess I'll try to go for the no catch. And we're successful. We have to leave about that much stem to be able to handle the texturing. And here I'm just making clearance. We don't quite have enough wood for another top, so I'm not worried about making the correct surface for the next top. Slow the lathe up, improve my angle to work from, about 45 degrees, and with the tool about centered. I can rest my tool on the wood that'll be left. I'm a little low to hit its center, and my thumb is to keep it from turning over. If this turns over, you ruin the top every time. There is texture number one, and notice I'm rocking down just a little to put a curve in the texture. There's 3 bands, and I can color now, or I can finish the stem now. I'm going to finish the stem now. A little speed. And I have to do a section of this stem at a time. And here, since I didn't get a catch already, I could get a catch for you here. But if I do that, the gouge will run under the stem, and that's a guaranteed start over. That's about long enough, so here'll be the top. Take a little wood away so I know where to color to. Slow the lathe up and we'll color. Again, light color first. And I'm trying to work in the texture. So there's 1 band, 2 bands, 3. Having trouble getting the bottom of that texture. Probably because this tip, as you see, is about had it. But we're going to get at least this one more top out of it. Color the stem. And notice on the stem, I go underneath. I can hold there as long as I want to and get a nice dark color, even with worn out pins. And I can establish my uniformity with the second color, because as you see, I can color over the lighter color. Now on the body here, the back, top, whatever you want to call it, the idea is just to cover the white. The bottom of the grooves will still, the texture will still be white, but that adds interest. Okay, we're pretty much colored. Cut the speed back up and cut the top off. I gotta have clearance to get in there with the skew, and if you're good, there'll be no problem at the top. If you're not, there'll be a little nib. Cut the lathe off. Here is there is a little nib, and I can just take the skew and remove that. Then take the darker color, the one at the top here. And all I got to do is blot it on. I don't have to worry about any match or anything, because blue's the color around the top there. There you go, finished top. And thank you.